Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today I want to talk to you about the Master's Key to Sorcery. When you really start this path, one of the things that can cancel you out to your evolution and your growth is taking on too many books and too many pantheons early on in the beginning. With a lot of my students and people that I have consulted and just have helped when they have asked me to, the thing that I notice is that they have read all these books, whether it be the Goetia, whether certain other books online from Amazon from various authors. And what this can do is that George Orwell spoke about the overload of information. So you end up reading so much that you become the very thing that you despise, and that's an armchair occultist. In other words, you're a theorist and a researcher, but you're not really using the premise and putting it into practice, and that is incredibly dangerous. So what I would challenge the occult family and anyone who is seeing this video to do is that what you have to take upon yourself is that if I can recommend any books that can help, I would say for at least 2 to 3 months, read books from the authors of the Gallery of Magic, such as Damon Brand, Corin Hargrove. You can read those books, or even Ben Woodcroft. Read those books. Only deal with certain authors for 2 to 3 months. That's one. The second thing that I can say is deal with books that will always challenge and transform your psychology. So you can do that. A good book is The Master's Key. I always give that starting out to all my students, The Master's Key. I give that out. And also books by Robert Greene, such as 48 Laws of Power or 38 Strategies of War. Because the whole thing is that one thing about magic is going to happen is that your prejudices will come to the forefront as well as your fears, especially when you call yourself working with demons. This will happen. So you have to be real and you have to be practical with yourself. Another tidbit that I would also offer is that everything becomes dogmatic, regimented, and actually in the end useless. This has happened in the martial arts culture in China. For those that don't know, a lot of so-called traditionalist martial artists are just, for lack of a better term, are getting torn to shreds, getting beat down by mixed martial artists. And the lesson is that when Mao came to the forefront and he acquired power, one of the first things he did was he neutralized some of the martial artists so they couldn't evolve. So mixed martial artists in the West, like in Europe and America, they became dominant. And one thing about magic, I'm using this as an analogy to say this, that many of the grimoires, and I went through them, like A.E. Wade, Black and White Magic, or even his book, The Holy Kabbalah, or Transcendental Magic, don't use those. I'm telling you as your teacher and your mentor, do not use those because they cannot help you. The old grimoires cannot help you, and they're talking in a coded language because you got to remember, people were persecuted and oftentimes put to death. So don't use those. So I want to recap very quickly is that only deal with certain books in the beginning. Don't jump to voodoo. Don't jump to Ifa. Don't be all over the place because you're going to end up not doing anything. The old grimoires, they cannot help you. They cannot assist you on this journey. Anything can become regimented and dogmatic. What I teach at Meat and Potato Sorcery is techniques that will help you evolve as a human being and come into your goddess or godhood and help you ascend. So I strip away the unessentials. If it's not going to work, then what am I doing this for? If it can't help you evolve and it cannot help you grow, there is really no point of me doing this. And it's no point of you doing this. And you have to challenge yourself even when you call yourself quote unquote bored. So only stick to certain authors who I do recommend. Like I said, I talked about two of them. Another one I recommend is Jason Miller. I highly recommend him if you want to deal, with those type of books like protection, magic, and etc. And what I teach here is that I give you the tools that will empower you. I give you the chance, I give you the mantras. You don't have to deal with ceremonial magic unless you choose to. And I also want to speak to this. A lot of people, they often want to know who their spirit guides are. Your spirit guides will reveal themselves to you when you are on the journey full time. Yep, I'm going to break it to you. If you just a dabbler and you just doing this every now and again and you just want to put some money in your pocket, or you just want to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend back, 9 times out of not, your spirit guide and certain archangels will not reveal themselves to who you are. So that's something that you may want to take into accord. So I want to make that very expressly clear. And it's something else that I want to speak to because there's a lot going on about dissolving the chakras. Can you dissolve the chakras? Yes, you can. But will they come back? Yes, they will. I don't recommend dissolving the chakras because the chakras help you when it comes to your third eye. It also helps you as well with having the ability to combat spirits, especially when you're doing astral magic. And astral magic is basically when you're casting spells and you're doing work and you have a temple on the etheric plane. That's astral magic in a nutshell. So I want to really make this clear. I strip away the dogma, I strip away the nonsense. And one thing about it is that certain things like the lesser banishing ritual, you don't really have to do that. Going facing the east, facing the west, and doing all that, you can use my angelic diamond technique and get the same, if not better, results. And I'm not saying that, the Golden Dawn was not a great order in Britain, and they were. But if you really look at it, everything must change and evolve, and change is painful. But for the good of the occult culture, it is incredibly necessary. So I want to send that message out. I'm giving you the key to master sorcery. So if you want to get my classes and you want more chants and mantras, you can email me at wateralchemist777@gmail.com. And I look forward to the dialogue, and I'm incredibly thankful that you chose me to be your mentor. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery. I'm the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friend. Peace.